Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about a few key tips that you can use to spot an anxious, preoccupied attachment style individual right on or soon after the first date. So this is a great video for you if you're confused about dating sometimes, want extra feedback and tools. If you decide that you want to make investments in the right people early on, whose traits and qualities would complement yours, bring out some of the things that you need. And if you want to just be more intentional about dating in general, obviously it's really beneficial to, as early as possible, try to understand what the other person's attachment style is. And this is by no means me saying that, like, if somebody's a different attachment style other than secure, that it can't work. This is me saying, know the person's attachment style, know the different strengths and weaknesses that may exist within the relationship dynamic, and then use the tools that you get through learning, through education, and through a deep dive into understanding this stuff at like the granular level to be able to mitigate problems proactively so that you don't have to run into some of the pain points in relationships when we have a securely attached style with an insecurely attached style, or two insecurely attached styles together. And always keep in mind that just because we are a certain style doesn't mean that we can't change and reprogram at the subconscious level so that we can become, very secure ourselves. So a few key things that you'll see about anxious, preoccupied individuals. Number one, they tend to be very present on the first date. They tend to be very aware, very open, very focused, very available to be on the date itself. And it's usually because it's really linked into some of their subconscious personality needs. APs, as a general rule, tend to really care about emotional connection, social connection, romantic relationships. These sorts of things in general tend to sort of fill their cup. So, you're going to see that there's a certain, wherever we have some of our subconscious personality needs in alignment with what our conscious mind is doing and taking part in, we tend to be more focused and more present in general. Another big thing you'll see that tends to really distinguish APs is they can be quite people pleasing on the first date. And you may see that they are, very open to agreeing with you on a lot of things, really want to show that there are similarities and things in common. Even if they're not super interested in the person, they still tend to want the first date to go really, really well, because they tend to just, in the very least, subconsciously crave that validation and approval from the person. And it's really them trying to gather information that I am worthy of love. I am likable. I am, all these different things. And it's this need that they have, right? To be liked, to be accepted, to be loved. It's something that really drives a lot of their subconscious need system. Another big thing that you'll see is anxious, preoccupied individuals tend to not really assert a lot of strong opinions on the first date. This is a really great way to distinguish between FA and AP, because usually you'll see FAs try to sort of assert more of their independence on the first date, not want to show weakness or vulnerability, these sorts of things. Whereas you'll see a lot of APs tend to not really assert things that are different from you too often. So let's say, for example, you like chocolate ice cream and they like vanilla ice cream, an FA would more easily, just as an example, of course, say, I really like vanilla ice cream. That's definitely my preference. And they would stick to their guns on what really tends to be their opinions, their views, their desires, their stuff, independently of you. And because they have that strong side, and they usually want to show that side on the first date. APs would do something more I really like chocolate ice cream too. So if the question was what's your favorite kind? They'd be like, oh, I really like chocolate ice cream too. But I guess I would maybe say vanilla. It's hard to say. They wouldn't want to assert something too separate or too different. And you'll see a lot of that really taking place in the subtleties of a first date with an anxious, preoccupied. And of course, this tends to be around bigger things, right? Children or not having children. This tends to be around where you want to live, what you want your lifestyle to be, these sort of big life decisions they don't want to vary too far away from. Not necessarily ice cream flavors, right? So you'll see a lot of these different dynamics. You'll see a lot of attentiveness from an anxious, preoccupied. They tend to be quite attuned on the first date to any sorts of shifts in patterns. You'll see a lot of open body language. Another big thing is you may see the AP overshare at times, and share a lot about like emotional stuff quite quickly, sometimes slightly, maybe too much too soon, not always, but that can be the case. And then a really great way to decipher if somebody's anxious, preoccupied or not is what happens after the date. So are they really, really quick to follow up? Are they really wanting to like plan for another date almost immediately at the end of the date, maybe send a text message that evening when you return home from the date? These tend to be the AP sort of dynamics. By the way, too, before I tell you the last couple in here, if you want like a roadmap for how an anxious preoccupied is going to show up, whether this is you or whether this is somebody that you're dating right now, if you do the advanced attachment style course at PDS, you can check it out for free for 7 days. And it's like the roadmap for like all the nuances and actions for how an AP is going to show up in the dating stage, in the honeymoon stage, the power struggle, the stability, the commitment, the bliss stages, all stages of a relationship, like the roadmap that literally will show you what they're likely to experience, what they're going to feel, what some of the pain points will be, and then also tools for how to overcome those things, both as the individual and if you're on the recipient end of that. So you can click the link below and you can check that out for free for 7 days and print off the workbook and sort of scope everything out around there. And we have those for all the different attachment styles in general. So back to some of this stuff. Another really good thing is you'll see, or like a really good way to tell the AP is you'll be able to see that they tend to seek validation a little bit indirectly. They want to know how you feel about the date, how you think it's going. And other attachment styles can do that too, but APs will tend to feel a little bit more anxiety about it and put a little more focus on it. And they will tend to respond very well to approval or validation or encouragement. Like if that's given to them, they'll sort of light up. And a lot of it comes from like them just wanting to be liked, them just wanting to do a good job on the date, them wanting to feel like they're wanted, that they're desirable, that they're lovable. And I sort of think of like almost a little kid in a way, right? It's like just wanting to know that everything's going to be okay and that everything's going well. And they'll put a big focus around that and really go out of their way to try to achieve that. And my advice, if you are the AP and this is you, none of that is wrong. And it can be quite an endearing and sweet thing. But when it becomes problematic is when it's to the exclusion of yourself and your own needs. It's when you left yourself at the door and your needs and your desires and your boundaries because you got so focused on people pleasing and getting that outcome of the person liking you or having a good time on the date that you forgot to include yourself in the process of dating, that you forgot to like really check out, like, do I like this person as well? Are they a fit for my needs? Do I see myself wanting to invest my time and energy into this person and into this sort of area of my life? And you know, you want to make sure that you're working on that so it doesn't become mutually exclusive. It's one thing to like bring your best self to different areas of your life, to work, to school, to dating, to friendships, all these different things, but it's a different thing when it's at the expense of the relationship to yourself. So my one bonus tip in here is if this is an AP listening to this right now, to please make sure you include yourself in the process of dating as well and allow yourself to really vet out the other person and not make it just about you pleasing them, but make it like a mutual exchange of understanding each other, getting to know each other and seeing if there's potential to continue getting to know each other because it seems like a good fit from both ends. So hopefully that all makes sense. Again, if you want to check out that roadmap and do a much deeper dive, you can click the link in the description box below and check out the course for free for 7 days. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be doing a series on different attachment styles and how to spot them on the first date as well. So stay tuned for that.